Hi guys, welcome back to Fohammer Videos. So today we're going to take a very quick look at Warhammer Age of Sigmar Harbinger Edition. Stick around for that right after this. So once again, just want to preface by saying this is a very quick look. This isn't my copy. I borrowed this from a friend purely for the sake of doing a video. I implore you to go and read Rob's review of Harbinger Edition. We, Fohammer.com, we paid for one copy of these. You know, we're not supported like all the other big channels or small channels who are far less popular than us, but Games Workshop seem to send free stuff to. I'm not sore about that at all. I've only been emailing them once a week for the last 2 years. Anyway, so today, as I say, this isn't my copy, so I'm going to have to rip it apart, have a quick look at it. I'm doing this really quick in the morning, so I've got to get 2 of these looked at before the kids go off to school in about 19 minutes from now. So yeah, let's have a look at this and see what we think. So before we get into it, as usual, 2 main things. 1, click subscribe down below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. That lets everyone know we exist. We're only a tiny YouTube channel at the moment, but if you're watching us, it means you've got some interest in what we're doing. So click subscribe. At least then that's kind of YouTube's algorithm to tell other people. And while you're at it, don't forget to click the notification bell, because that will alert you when we've got a new video out. And let me know what you'd like to see on the channel. I know it's unboxing, and yeah, what says on the box is in the box, but yeah, let's go. Right, anyway, question of the week. So today's question is, which of the 3 starter sets, so that's Warrior, Harbinger and Extremist, which one appeals to you the most? Which one do you think is the relative sweet spot that's really going to get your interest? Let me know in the comments down below, and yeah, let's get into this box and see what it's all about. Right then, so once again we're going to do a really rapid look at the Harbinger starter set. As I mentioned with the Warrior set, this isn't mine. I've borrowed it off a mate who bought both sets to bulk up the Vindictors and the Cruel Boys. And then obviously, if you're not aware, the cheaper Warrior set, which I've got here, comes with 2 different character models. So the Warrior comes with the Killer Boss and Stab Grot and the Knight Arcanum, whereas this one comes with the Lord Imperator and the Swamp Caller Shaman and Pot Grot. So these are clearly, and the same with the Extremist edition, these are clearly made so that when you go in and you buy and you want to reinforce your army, it's a really quick and cheap and easy way to do it. If you start with this set, then you can either buy the Harbinger, or the only real difference in the Extremist edition is the scenery. So these are perfectly made to go together, this with one of the other 2 sets, so that's really good. Right, I need to be quite careful with this. As I said, it's not mine, but we're just having a look at it. So it's quite heavy. The artwork's sort of on point. Cheap cardboard with these things. It's not pretty glossy box like it was with Dominion set, so if that's still available, I'd definitely say pick that up because the value is insane. Nice and fat this end, although the weight has just slid down there. So let's see if there's any damage. Right, so once again, everything comes in a tray. Let's see if I can slide this out without knocking stuff off my desk. And the tray becomes part of the scenery, which, you know, it's cheap and nasty looking when it comes to scenery. You know, it's quite literally just, you know, a piece of cardboard. Can I hold it all in? It's just a piece of cardboard, but you know, for the sake of nothing, it at least gets you some scenery for the beginner. So in this set you get, starting off, well, we've got the grots. What are they called again? I don't know the names of any of these. The Hobgrots. I have to leave the box there to refer back to it. So you get 10 of these. There's 2 different ways you can build a lot of the models, and the differences are somewhat significant, surprisingly. So you can either make the musicians or the standard Hobgrots with the knives. We'll get into that in a second. Once again, you get the sprue of 5 Vindictors, bigger box, so you haven't got one end snapped off this time. And then we get some models that we didn't get previously in the Warrior edition. So this is your Shaman and your Lord Imperator, or Lord Impertinent, if you want to say it. So they kind of split up. We'll put the Cruel Boys that side and the Stormcast this side. And then once again you get a larger sprue. So these guys are not the Vindictors. Which ones are these? These are the Praetors. So these are the guys with the big pikey axe things. I've just broken a model. Fantastic. Sent his head flying. Don't worry, not one of these, one of mine. And then you get the Cruel Boys, again, I'm forgetting it this morning because I'm in a rush. The Gut Rippers, that's it, and one of these can be built as a Gut Ripper boss. So, as you can see, these go really well. If you were to buy this and the Warrior Edition, you basically get double the Vindictors and the extra model, the Knight Arcanum. And then with this set, you also get the, if you buy this set, you get to double up on your, oh God, my brain. You get to double up on your Gut Rippers, which is twice as many as you'd get in Dominion, but you would also get the Killer Boss with Stabgrot. So that would be a nice way to bulk up your army. So with this one you also get some artwork, and yep, it's the same one you got in Dominion. So if yours isn't punctured like mine, I mean, to be fair, these come to protect the booklets from the stabby sharp models, but mine's, as many of them do, has come punctured. But you can push that in, stick that in an IKEA frame, you've got some nice artwork. I would imagine there's people on eBay selling one of these in an IKEA frame for about £40. So there you go, you can make some money back. Excuse me. Right, okay, so you get your bases, you get some dice, which you don't get in Dominion because that isn't a starter set for beginners. That's more of a, you've played Age of Sigmar 2nd edition, we want to get you into 3rd edition with loads of stuff. Again, this is a starter set, so you get your range rulers, you get your dice, and you also get your gaming mat, which is the same as the one you got in Warrior Edition. The only difference really with the layout this time and the terrain is this base, this box is a lot larger, your scenery area is larger. That's it, so we'll stick them to the side. Right, and then finally we get a bag of books, and once again, weirdly, I'm sure this should be flipped the other way, just presentation wise, you know, but I think I'm nitpicking there. What do you reckon? Okay, I'm saying the same as I said with Warrior Edition, really, because a lot of this is the same, except you've obviously now got your extra cards for your Swampcrawler Shaman, your Hobgrots, there's your ability card, your Lord Imperator and your Praetors are obviously new in this one. The thing that I really want to say about these again is I love the fact that you get these. I like the idea, as somebody who doesn't play the game, you know, you can just have a quick bundle of these in your pocket so you can refer to Praetors and etc. But these only come with the models that you get in starter sets. So if I was to go and buy, I mean, they've shown off a lot of great models. They've shown off a lot of great models on the previews, but you don't actually get these with them. The next thing to look into, core rules. Once again, this is the same book that you get with the same book you get with Warrior, and is a nice little pocket book that you can keep with you if you want a quick reference to the rules. Obviously not as pretty, not as sexy as the one you get in Dominion, but it's nice. And then we'll flick through this. So the Harbinger edition, as we go through it, again, exactly the same pretty much as the Warrior Edition booklet. Yep, all this front page is the same, all of it's the same, all of it's the same, the same. So this is identical, and then we get back to the end pages. So, and once again, start playing, and that's the same. That's the same. Charge and combat phase is the same. So it's not actually, it doesn't look like it's giving you any kind of specific things. Here we go, Battle Plan 5. So now it's actually bringing in the different models and the objectives. So this is where it starts to change. So very simple battle plans for 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 and 3 at the very least. And then we start getting into the various sort of things once we've got past the magic. Yeah, we've done magic. This time it swaps the Knight Arcanum for the Swampcrawler in showing you how magic works. But then we get onto an actual, here's the objective and what you need to do with the various things. And yep, hallowed ground. And that's it. That, once again, I mean, when it comes to this, when we saw the similar thing for Indomitus, there was a lot more when it came to these sort of end guides. so it would actually show you different scenarios you could go through. I think it was a much better put together booklet, because these were combined, and it would kind of say, oh, you could go through this section and do and then build these models, and then do this section, build these models, and it'd walk you through it. This is kind of a step back, if you ask me. And these the final pieces are just rules references, so once you've read the rules and you've got that, you just, for beginner players, you can just hold these to one side and refer to them during the game. But yeah, it's a bit of a step back. What you would have with Indomitus is, when you flick through the book, it seemed a bit odd, but you'd sort of get a few pages in, it'd say build these models in the book, then it'd say play this game, then it'd say build these models, play this game. So again, that's not the best approach in comparison. It's a very, very simple thing. All you're essentially getting here, all you are getting, is a very slightly different book in the end section. So they've swapped out scenario 4 and given you a 5th scenario on how to play, but after that you're really on your own. It doesn't give you any different setups or objectives like it did with the Indomitus starter set. So once you've built these models, once you've played through that, you're then on your own to kind of build your own build and play to your own devices. Right, so the bit I'm interested in is what's changed here. So, yep, Lord Imperator straightforward, the Praetors are straightforward. The only real difference is you can build the Praetor Prime or another Praetor in there. So, again, not really massive value in buying 3 of these sets. Either get this one or the more expensive Harbinger edition. But again, you can build that or you can build a Prime. It doesn't tell you though, it doesn't, like, as a beginner, this is what I liked about the other one, because it suggested build the models this way to follow our guide, but here it just says you can build it this way or that way. You can build it as a Prime or you can build it as standard. It doesn't tell you why, it doesn't give you the value. So if you dive into this, you'll probably end up doing what I do and just guessing your way through it and ending up getting models that don't really fit too well. So again, you've got your standard bearer. Do I want him or do I want a normal Vindictor? Don't know. What does the book suggest? It tells you nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, but for a beginner, I kind of, as a complete beginner, I'm not wowed by this. I'm not like, ooh, that'll give me enough to kind of get up and start fully playing the game and appreciating the game. So once again, you're back to, you kind of have to go back a step, and you know, buying the 2 boxes together, you really have to understand how to play and have a friend teaching you how to do it. It's not so easy as a beginner. So if you've never played before and you are buying this for your children, or you're buying this to try and get your significant other into it, or a friend or anything like that, between the 2 of you, once you get to the end of this, you kind of just left to your own devices to figure things out. I really think that book should have took you beyond. Once again here, the Gut Rippers, you can build one as a Gut Ripper boss, and then finally these guys. So this was a bit weird in Dominion, because it would have you building the Hobgrots in a very specific way, sorry, both ways. So you got 20 Hobgrots, and it would say build the first 10. The way it was laid out was build the first 10 like this, and then the other 10 like this, so that you don't end up with 2 of the musician troupe and things like that. In here though, because you've only got 10 of them, it suggests that you need to it suggests you can basically make your own choice. You can build them whatever you want. So the way they've done this is very confusingly, you've got these 2 models here, which, why are they grouped together? It's hard to figure out. So you've got the 2 banner guys, and again, Dominion will have you building both. So you've got 6, which is F, and then you've got H. So H1, weirdly, the armor's the same, the body's different, but are any of these parts connected to that? I don't get that. I don't get why they paired that with that. The armor's different. That's the H1 armor, that's the H7 armor, that's the H4, H2 and H10 bodies. So there's no connections between that and that I can see, yet they've grouped them together. So it should have I guess to say, right, only build one scrap totem bearer, fine, okay. So build a scrap totem bearer, but you can either have this bearer or that bearer, and then the other one becomes just a standard hobgrot. And then again, the noisemaker, you can have, they're suggesting have one noisemaker or both noisemakers, it's up to you. So you can build them whatever way you want, but it doesn't, weirdly, and again, going back to this, it looks like you would have to play through the game and understand the rules fully to figure out in what configuration you would want to build them. Now, with them being push fit, they're not too bad. You can essentially just pop them apart and then build them again, but sometimes you can snap parts doing that. It's not the best way to do it. So yeah, for the actual contents, okay, but in comparison to the Warrior Edition, I was expecting more substance from the rulebook, which you don't get. And as for the models themselves, as I said in the Dominion box set review, they're all nice and easy to build, so you snip them off. There's a few bits around here, like on the skin and things like that, when you want to be careful of the arms and things where the mold lines are. But in the most part, and especially for the Stormcast, the mold lines are very intelligently placed around armour joints, so the only bits you really need to worry about are some of the smoother, more skin and rounded edges, kind of like here on the edges of elbows and things. But even the capes, your join line goes up the edge of the cape, and with these being new molds, the join lines from the moulding process aren't that significant anyway, so really good job with them. Nice and easy to snip off. The only thing I noticed, and again this is a step backwards with a lot of these models, is in Indomitus they did some great stuff with the models, and the push fit is really simple. I've got one, let me just grab one here. So can I get that guy in focus? Can I? No, really struggling to focus on here because I'm going too fast probably. But with Indomitus, these guys do just have the components that pop off, the arms pop off. So if you want to build them in sub-assemblies, with the exception of the head, you can do it quite easily. However, with the Stormcast models and with the Cruel Boys models in here, a couple of things that are a drawback with push fit. I like push fit for the sub-assembly approach, but all of the models are built with the arms pinned inside the model and the shields. You can pop the shield off, that's easy enough, but all the arms themselves are pinned inside, so you can't pop an arm off, and you can't then paint that in a sub-assembly. Once these are built, they are built, so you may as well just glue them. And the other thing about these is where the Indomitus units, you didn't need to do any filing or snipping of the pins in order to build them in sub-assemblies. With these, I would very much recommend going back to the old ways of when you've got a pin that joins two parts of the body together like this, just find the pin piece like that, snip the tiniest bit off the edge, and maybe scrape round the sides of it just to make that pin a bit thinner and a bit shorter, so that when you push it together it doesn't leave gaps. And that was mostly prevalent on the Lord Imperator for me, where when I pushed him together, that part of the cape there joins up with, I think, is it this side on the back, and there was a huge gap down the side. So in the most part they're fine, but as a general rule of thumb, snip them. Mold line cleanup's fine, but try and snip some of these pins down, and that'll make your building process a lot easier. So that's it guys, that's my sort of view, my review, my impressions of this set. How do I feel about it? Well, it's the mid-tier. I'm hoping for more from the Extremists. I was a little bit disappointed with what you got in the book and the approach to how they did that, but as a mid-tier you're getting a decent amount of models, you get a good beginner set, but the information included within, I think they could have done a bit better with, as they've already done before with the Indomitus starter sets. Scenery's basic, the terrain's basic, but that's the point of a starter set, is to just get you home and get you playing. Once again, like I said with the Warrior Edition, unlike previous editions where the two factions were different colours, here they're all the same colour. So when you're actually sat playing on the table and you want to get this as a starter set, the models are obviously grey, so that forces you to kind of get on with the painting of them. But for those of you who just want to focus on playing the game, don't want to do the painting, just get home and start getting yourself and your family and you know, your friends into it, it's not presented as accessibly as previous ones were, which is a little bit disappointing. Nevertheless though, blooming good value for money. So if you are just looking to bulk up an army, maybe you missed out on Dominion. If you haven't missed out on Dominion, go and get it, because the value of that set is insanely good, especially when you see what they did with Indomitus. And some of the sprues in, just 2 of the sprues in there came out individually at £90 each because of the models they contain. So get Dominion while you can get your hands on it. If you can't get it, then your next best bet is to get either this or Harbinger and the Warrior edition, to just bulk up these forces a touch and get the different command level models that you get with that set. So that's it. Let me know what you thought about this video. As always, thanks for joining. Please like and subscribe, and Fohammer out. And in regard to this one, I specifically want to know something that I forgot, but I thought of a minute ago.